Some of the best minds in the world bringing you some of the best knowledge on TRS Clips. What is communism or socialism? And also maybe kind of begin by giving us a little input into capitalism.
So capitalism is all about making money, exploiting the world, making quarter upon quarter profits. Let's say you have a company, a corporation. You are in the business of making money for your shareholders, basically for your shareholders. So it's all about the pursuit of quarter upon quarter profit. Your only aim is to be profitable and to profit your shareholders. And the entire country, the entire nation of the US was a capitalist nation. It's all about making money, competition, free market, and expansion. Globally, hopefully. The British Empire also was that sort of thing, but it was more of an extractive kind of enterprise. So the US took over the entire the geopolitical framework of the British Empire by the 1950s, and then they expanded in various dimensions, in various countries and various continents. The USSR also wanted to have their own sphere of influence, massive sphere of influence. So their sphere of influence was Eastern Europe, primarily in the beginning of the Cold War, 45 onwards. The entire Eastern Bloc, which was the eastern part of Germany, Czechoslovakia, and Hungary, Romania, all these Eastern Bloc nations, they were part of the Soviet bloc. And also later there was this competition in Iran, who would take over Iran, whether Iran will become a Western power, Western dominated power, or a Russian satellite state. Because at the time, there was a US-backed coup. Mohammad Mossadegh was overthrown and the Shah of Iran came into power. It was all about oil, obviously. It was about control of resources, about the oil, control of the seas, so much more. So there was this massive thing going on. There was the Chinese angle as well. China was another socialist, Marxist, Maoist country, communist country. So the question you asked is about communism. What is communism? So we understood what capitalism is in very brief. Communism is all about collectivizing society. It's the idea that nobody should own any property. The property should belong to the state, which represents the people. So in a communist country, in a Marxist country, you have a dictatorship of the proletariat. The proletariat is the workers. In any society, they say that there are multiple classes of people. It's about classes. You have the proletariat, which is the workers, the people who do the hard labor. They are the sons of the soil, the daughters of the soil. You have the bourgeoisie, which is the people who exploit the proletariat. And then you have the upper class, which is the royalty or whatever, the traditional feudal class and power holding class and all that, right? So you have these classes. So in a communist society, to transition from a capitalist to communist society, you need a communist revolution, a people's revolution in which there is violence, the bourgeoisie is overthrown, the evil capitalists are overthrown. Then you have the establishment of a dictatorship of the proletariat, a small number of people who will rule the country in the name of the people, right? And then you will have a collectivized society in which nobody really owns any property, but everybody has access to everything, right? So in the daytime, you work hard, you produce goods and do all that. In the evening, you can have your whiskey and have your debates about communism and all that. It's an ideal utopian communist society.
And the track record shows us that it likely doesn't work.
There's a reason for that, because Marx never said what did he mean by the dictatorship of the proletariat? Who is supposed to lead the country after your revolution has succeeded? Is it supposed to be a democratic election to elect the dictatorship of the proletariat? Or is it that the thugs who were at the forefront of the revolution will consolidate their power? It's typically that way. So he never quite explained or prescribed what sort of society actually should exist once the revolution has succeeded, right? In a violent revolution with a violent overthrow, it's typically the thuggish elements of society that rise to the forefront, because that's the people who are the most adept at violence. And then you have thugs who rule the country. Bullies and thugs and goons, Stalin was a big goon. I mean, every communist revolution has thrown up such bullies, dictators, tyrants. So that's how it goes. So that is what a communist society is. Collectivized society. Nobody owns anything. Property, there is no property. You don't own anything, but you own everything in name. And actually what happens in every communist society is that a very small number of people end up having all the power and owning everything. which is the Politburo of the Communist Party.
What is socialism?
Socialism is, you could say, soft communism, soft Marxism. India is defined as a socialist something.
Socialist in spirit or something like that.
Secular socialist republic or something.
Oh, okay, that way.
Yeah, so socialism means the people, the downtrodden masses actually are the representatives of the people, and there is a kind of collectivization of the society, which means that all these schemes and everything are for the benefit of the poor, that sort of thing. So in a way, there is an element of collectivism in socialism as well. I think in India, the constitution does not recognize the right to property as a fundamental right. As far as I recall, it's that way.
What does that mean effectively?
It means that the state can take away your property, and it is not unconstitutional.
Even like till today.
Till today. So that's what happens in a socialist society. All property is technically not owned by anybody. You may actually own it, but the state can take it away if required for whatever larger purpose, larger good of the society or whatever. So socialism is like soft Marxism, soft communism. It's more or less the same thing. The USSR is the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, right? China also defines itself as a socialist country, in a socialist nation in some ways.
In truth, what is it? Because we hear
in
about
truth, there is no real definition. There is no clear-cut, unambiguous definition of what Marxism is, what socialism is. At the end of the day, all of this is a toolkit. Marxism is a toolkit that is designed to bring to power a very small number of people who then use the same toolkit to stay in power and expand their power. That's typically what it is.
Thank you for watching this clip. If you want to learn more about this topic, we've curated a playlist just for you, and here's a link to the whole episode.